A very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evans Okinyi, and I'm glad that you've joined me for, of course, the most interesting political and public governance analysis conversation here. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Good.
Let's look at what is actually taking place in the country currently, of course. But I want us to look at the movement of certain leaders in this country with regards to maybe the possible political realignments that we are likely to see moving forward very fast towards the year 2027. And of course, the elections are here. Look at how the members of parliament voted for or against the impeachment of the Deputy Rigathi Gachagua at the National Assembly. And then you look at the kind of voting pattern that was also witnessed at the Senate, even during the debates and all that, when the senators were giving in their views on the same. It's very evidently clear that the members from Ukambani, in as much as they are the very people who brought in, of course, when you talk of Mutuse, who brought about this motion here, I want us to have the conversation here. Do you think that perhaps the members of parliament who are affiliated to Kalonzo Musyoka were sincere here, or they were just maybe not supporting this particular motion?
What do you mean by sincere and supporting?
No, Kenyans are saying here, look, you are not looking at this matter substantively. All that you are looking for is maybe you stand with him at this particular moment, and then there would be a time when he'll be able to stand with your son
but
as well.
Politics is about alliances. Politics is about interests. Politics is about friends. So, in fact, of the two groups, it is only one group that is true to politics. The Kalonzo Musyoka group. They are looking at their interests and alliances and friends and saying, we stand with the Mount Kenya people, they could stand with us in 2027. That's how politics is played. But these other ones, what were they doing? And we stand with our party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka. Our re-election in 2027 as MPs is guaranteed. That's how politics works. But these other ones, you can't explain their action. Apart from those from Nyanza. The ones from Mount Kenya who tipped these things, who tipped the scales to send Gachagua home, whose numbers were used to invite other numbers to be able to successfully impeach Gachagua in the National Assembly. What were they going for? Okay. You can only conclude either they don't know what's going on, they don't understand the politics, or they were influenced by a third party. So, say little about Ukambani MPs. They are the ones who played true to politics. Okay. But this other side, you can't see any reasoning, any thinking, any politics other than influence.
So make me understand this, Prof.
Politics is also about influence.
Where do we draw the line between your political interest vis-a-vis your legal mandate as a member of the Senate or even the National Assembly?
Herman Manyora's YouTube channel reaches millions of Kenyans every single month, directly through the platform and indirectly through different social media platforms. Our serious political and governance audience are more than willing to purchase products and services marketed to this platform. With zero competition from other digital platforms in this arena, we guarantee that your product will be visible to the client base you seek. Contact us today to find out more about our audience and how you can advertise through Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Time to reach that willing buyer.
Of course, you are supposed to speak for country. You are supposed to see the future. You are supposed to speak knowing very well you represent Kenyans in the National Assembly. You speak for them. They have delegated their authority to you. All the women in the village collectively sent you to school. It's not your father's money that sent you to school. Out of 1 or 2 shillings your father contributed to your education or your mother, 8 more are contributed by society in one way or the other. Is that true? The teachers who taught you in school were not paid by your parents. They were paid by taxpayers. So you must speak for them. So for that reason, there's a higher ideal. There's a higher calling for a member of National Assembly. That would mean the caliber of MPs we put there. Unfortunately for us, we have not put their MPs at least not in any numbers you can think of, who see things from that perspective. That calls for a big brain to know that even as much as politics is about interest, the national good should override any other interest. You must subsume your interest within the national interest, within the national good. The community good must come above your family or individual good. Ultimately, that's the only way you can guarantee there will be a country tomorrow. The society will be self-sustaining. That there will be a country called Kenya tomorrow and another year from now. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
I get you.
That's the only way you can guarantee that your granddaughter will be born in a country called Kenya with the stability you are enjoying today. So as you vote, don't think about the money you are given. Don't think about the interest of your political party or your political leader. That should come below the national good. And the national good is ultimately in your own interest. Because we are driving this country to a point where none of us will enjoy tomorrow. But more seriously, our children and their children will not find a country.
So going by the recent moves of course, Kalonzo Musyoka and all the members of parliament affiliated to him, do you see his eyes actually fixed on the 2027 general elections?
Yes, Kalonzo is... My only fear is, my assessment, which doesn't seem to give him much hope, is that he's not... Politics about exploiting opportunities. Looking at the moment and opportunities created and going for them. Kalonzo is not good at going for those opportunities.
Okay.
The moments he must capture, he doesn't capture them. Because Raila has been everything. But Raila has exposed his underbelly. This was the time to go for Raila. Because if you give Raila time, he'll reinvent himself. I'm telling Kalonzo today, people who are watching this clip, please take it to Kalonzo. Show him this part. Don't bore him with the whole clip. Just get this part. If you don't move now when Raila is exposed, forget about it. Because Raila will reinvent himself. And you'll be relegated Kalonzo Musyoka, not to second fiddle, to some 10th fiddle, if there's such a English. This is the moment to go for it when Raila is exposed. Raila is a master politician. He misses AU seat, he comes back, he looks at Ruto in the eyes and tells him, go to hell. And he reorganizes his troops. And people forget all the things he has done. And he's the only person to face Ruto in 2022.
2027, that is.
2027. So Kalonzo must play this game in such a way. By the time Raila comes, because Raila will surely come. By the time Raila comes back, Kalonzo ought to have occupied the space effectively so that in the 2027 election, Kalonzo should become number one. Ruto should become number 2, Raila number 3. And then there's a runoff. This is the time Kalonzo has. Anybody watching this video, cut this part and tell Kalonzo. If you do not seize the moment, and you are not good at that, we've not known you for that. Politics is about opportunities. When they come, get them. Shakespeare's talking about the tide. It comes for all men.
Okay.
It brings good things. But you must see the tide, here it is, it has brought. Go for the things. Raila will come back. He will reinvent himself. He will tell his story. He will even beat Ruto.
So make me understand this. How then should Kalonzo actually seize this particular moment? Because I've seen him just talking, maybe right now appearing to be the face of opposition in the country currently. What makes you think that he's not actually decided to take these opportunities?
I should see it. When Raila comes back, she will see it. Yeah, it must be seen. You can't hide it. It's not theoretical. It's not academic. It's not hypothetical. It's real. We must see it. We must see Kalonzo shaking the landscape. And he must do it in a different way, not the Raila style. And this calls for interacting with men and women with ideas, which Kenyans, again, are not known for, especially our leaders. You think cheerleaders around you are people who are helping. They can't help you. You need intelligent people around you. Whenever you have a serious issue, invite the company of intelligent people who can see through situations. Look at how lawyers are making fools out of themselves in court. And I feel very sad for Gachagua, having watched what happened in court the other day. If you have a matter of this magnitude, for example, in court, such as Gachagua has, invite good lawyers. He has very good lawyers. But invite other people who may not be lawyers, who can see through situations, who can listen to the mock presentations, who can contribute, who can show you the loopholes, who can tell you, before you take this thing to court, let us counter-check. Did Frida Mugambi go to Moy University for masters? Just simple Googling. Birmingham, UK, not there. That is not a lawyer issue. That is members in the team who have the capacity to see things. It is the capacity to see things that matters, not legal training.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying Kalonzo should find company of men and women, not cheerleaders, not supporters, not people who say what you want to hear. People who can tell you things until you get annoyed. Somebody who can speak and tell him, leave this house, this home, this go away. But tomorrow you call him and say, I'm sorry. What were you saying? I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. So if Kalonzo moves in, because there's a need for re-engineering the game. If you play this game in Raila's field of trying to mobilize the crowds, you will not manage. Because when the owner of crowds comes back, where will you be? So the owner of crowds is Raila Odinga. So he will come back.
So seemingly,
when he comes back, Kalonzo will... You must re-engineer the game. If somebody is dribbling on the ground, take the ball up. And taking the ball up is a question of thinking. I don't have the answers. But I'm sure there are people like me who, if given an opportunity, can think through this and come up with strategies of how can we play this game so that by the time Raila comes back, the space is already effectively occupied. And one of the suggestions I'll give, because the rest I can only give as a consultant, is 2027 must be approached in the manner in which 202 was approached. A team of Kenyans moving together to liberate their country without caring who of them will become Kibaki.
Okay. How difficult or easy is it to create some sort of a Kalonzo wave? I don't know whether to call it a Kalonzo wave or a wiper wave or the umbrella wave.
You will not succeed.
When you actually compare...
The owners of waves are there, Raila. You can't create a Kalonzo wave. It cannot happen. Never. It can never happen. Never. Because the owner of waves will come, Raila Amolo Odinga. When he comes, the wave is him. You cannot match Raila in the crowds, in what you are calling a wave. What you need to do is to create a movement. Raila cannot match a movement. He cannot penetrate a movement.
Okay. In terms of the country's politics, definitely we cannot ignore the mountain. Then do you think that perhaps, because right now what we're witnessing is maybe people seeing Kalonzo Musyoka siding with the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. And remember, even on that day when he was ill, he was the only person allowed inside there to go and see him, talk to him. It seems like his approach is wooing the mountain. And of course, the mountain is very critical when it comes to determining who becomes the president of this particular country. Do you think he'll succeed in this kind of venture?
And that explains what I'm trying to say. And I hope his people are watching and listening. Let's take the example of the mountain. The mountain, I am almost certain, beyond 80%, the mountain is looking for somebody to support. 100%.
Not one of their own?
Not one of their own now. They don't want to play into that kind of Kalenjini Kikuyu. So they will want to support somebody. And that somebody can easily be Kalonzo. They could entertain the idea of Raila. That's why I'm saying Kalonzo must move so fast so that by the time Raila comes back wanting to be president, the mountain he should not be an option to the mountain. Because the mountain will be very excited about a Raila partnership. Because they will be sure this is the only man who can teach Ruto a lesson. So now, 100% sure they are looking for somebody to support. Kalonzo must be that person. But it is equally true. They will not be supporting him because he's exciting them. And therefore, if he's looking for a Kalonzo moment, that, oh, this is the man you are... No! It is to play into what is going on, that the mountain wants somebody. So you engineer your politics in such a way that deal is sealed and done. Nobody can undo it. You get to the top of the mountain with the Mount Kenya people on the top. Anybody coming, Wakisi wanasema wanamfanyia churu 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 from up there. But I'm not a Kisi, although people think I'm a Kisi. So that is an example of what I mean. It is not a popular leader. That you can't match Raila and Ruto.
Okay.
It is somebody able to take advantage of, for example, the Mount Kenya people. They are angry with Ruto. They want somebody ambaye atawalipishia kisasi. Somebody to make Ruto pay for the betrayal. You be that person.
Okay.
But you cannot be the Messiah. That leave it to Raila and Ruto. Not Messiah is a bad word. I apologize to Christians. Just be that great leader. That charismatic leader. Crowd pulling. That you leave to Ruto and Raila because you can't rival them there. But you can organize your game in such a way. You look at pockets, for example. In this game, if Mudavadi is not made the running mate, which looks most unlikely, how can you take advantage of Western Kenya? You already have Eugene. How can you at the very least split the Western vote so that people of Bungoma, because of Eugene, are firmly with you together with Mount Kenya? How can you take advantage of the rift between Mount Kenya East, the Meru proper and the Darakas? It's not very good because it's not good for national cohesion. But that's how politics is organized around ethnicities. Whether it be black voters in America, Hispanics, those are ethnicities. Whether it be white collar workers or blue collar workers, evangelicals, those are demographics. You cannot take me on because in our Kenyan situation, the only demographics we have so far is tribe. There are no other demographics.
There are people who argue
it cannot be. You cannot say, I want to target educated Kenyans. Which are these educated Kenyans?
There are people who argue that we are past that kind
Which
of
one?
politics.
Which those? I want to hear. I teach at university where the professors are. Right now, all Kikuyu professors are against Ruto. Why are they not saying Ruto is okay? So even one of them.
So this idea of us being in the old political dispensation,
we are still there.
We are still there.
It takes, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we are just, why are we blaming ourselves?
Okay.
I've given you example of America. There are all those demographics. You get it? Even as Ruto appoints a Kalonzo into office, we are blaming him for nothing because an American president will be appointing somebody he went to college with. You can read the book by Smith Hempstone, Rogue Ambassador, in which he said he was surprised when he was appointed America's ambassador here. He hadn't been to college with the president. He hadn't gone to the same church with the president. He hadn't been which shows you that is how it is done. So don't blame anybody. That's how politics is done.
Okay.
So by the examples I'm giving, I'm trying to explain myself so that somebody does not say Manyora is talking about tribe. Because it is a demographic in politics.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. If I say more, Kalonzo will not pay me. I need him to hire me. To show him, I've given him examples. One, don't try to think you can overtake Raila or Ruto. In that style. But you can pull certain constituencies from them, certain demographics from them, and seal the deal before Raila comes back.
Okay.
Before Ruto realizes his game is not working. Because the moment Ruto realizes his game is not working, he will go back to factory settings. Go back to get the people he is losing now. Before Raila and Ruto come back, Kalonzo must have engineered the game so much so that they will be playing catch-up, panting and huffing behind him. Yeah.
There are people who are arguing, Prof, here that Kalonzo is part of the old political establishment,
Yes.
and they are actually craving for change. They're saying there's a moment where we need totally new faces here. Do you think that would perhaps maybe work against him?
That is true because, and it depends on what you mean by new faces.
They're saying that these are the same monkeys, maybe different.
It is that
forest.
argument that is saying Matiang'i should have a better chance. That thinking is producing the Matiang'i name, all right? That thinking is saying, no, let's go beyond even the big names we know, where even Matiang'i now belongs. They are saying, let's just take one of us. And that's how Mutata and Kebaso and all these names and maybe Manyora tomorrow and maybe you will come up. So that's a conversation that is ongoing. It explains, it sort of shows you I'm right. That Kalonzo must lock all this thinking. Lock them out of being the national narrative.
Okay.
So the narrative must be created by Kalonzo. That Raila and Ruto have teamed up to do 1, 2, 3, and we cannot allow them. So you get ready constituencies. The Mount Kenya constituency, which is very unhappy with Ruto for betrayal, for persecution, they feel so, especially betrayal. The divisions in Western Kenya, the dissatisfactions in certain sectors of the society, and generally the ever-questioning and rising Gen Z. You must show them, much as we need to change power from the old guards and the old generation to the new people, there is new need for a transition.
Okay.
And I want to be that person who will birth a new Kenya in this transition and hand over power to you young people in a structured manner that convinces you that actually, after me, the journey to hand over power to younger people will be on course. Yeah.
So you need to create that narrative.
Yes.
And run with it.
And run with it.
Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.